in multi-level inheritance, you'll have parent class, child class, and then there could also be one more child class extending from the class B. So it's like grandparents, parents, and child. So you can think of it as this way. So class A is like super class where it has some methods. Class B is child of class A. So with the help of class B, you can access to all methods in class A and class B. And with the help of when I'm extending a class C from class B, that means in class C, I can access both B and A. Now I'll like, try to show this with the help of an example, and then you'll get a better idea of what I mean. So I'll use the same example of what we created last time. So let's see. Oh, this is multi-level. Do I have multi-level here? Single inheritance, single level. Great. Okay. Looks like I don't have it here. So let me just add one more. So we created the first class as this one. So you can see here the first one was, the first one is animal single inheritance. So this is like parent class. So I'll name it parent class. Parent class. This is what we tried in our previous class. And then from this parent class, I created a child class which extends from the parent class. And then I have its own methods here. After this, I had single inheritance main, which is here. So what I did in single inheritance is I have created an object of this child class first, the dog single inheritance. And after creating an object, I can see that I have access to methods from superclass, which is d1.eat. Eat is present in my animal single inheritance class. So you can see that method is present here and bark is present here in dog single inheritance. And with the help of d1, I could access them both. So this is like single inheritance. Now, if I need multi-level inheritance, that means, so this is my, like, let's say super parent class. Then this becomes my parent class. And then I will have one more. So I'll do a right click, new class, and in class, I'll say, I'll just keep it simple, call it multi-level. Dog multi-level and super class I have to mention. So I will say dog single inheritance here. Press OK. And then finish. So you can see that now this one says public class dog multi-level extends dog single inheritance. Okay. And here I'll just create a method called void so this is the method which I'm creating. And inside this method, I'll just write system dot print ln I'll say this is second level class. Okay. Now if I create, so this is like 3 levels. So I have this one as super parent, this one as parent, and then this one as like the child. Okay, so I have 3 class. And dog is in extending from animal, and dog multi-level is extending from dog single inheritance. You can see that, right? Now what I'll do is, now I need main method. So without main, I can't even execute any of these, right? So I need main method. So let me just quickly go create new class and let's say multi-level inheritance. And in superclass, I will say there's no superclass, so I do not care. I need public static void main because this is where I'm going to do my coding. So first thing what I want to show is with the help of dog multi-level, I'll create an object of dog multi-level, which is like class C here. So if we take this picture, so this one is like animal single inheritance is class A, dog single inheritance is class B, and dog multi-level dot Java is nothing but my class. Okay. So I'll come here, I'll create a object equals to new of this. Now with the help of D1, when I put dot, you can see that I have access to all the methods. So first one is this. Definitely I will always have access to my own. So if my this is my class dog multi-level dot Java. So if this is the class, then I will always have access to this method bark multi-level. So in this main, you can see that for D1, I have access to all the three methods, but starting with this is the first method it has access to. Then I can access this one. So this is my child class. Oh, sorry, this is my parent class, as you can see. And finally, I could also access d1 dot eat. So I could access all the methods in class C. If I run this code, you will see here it says this is second level class, this is barking, and this is eating. So this second level class is from this point, then barking is from here, and then eating is from here. So, this is like multi-level. So very basic flow, but it is required when you're working with when you have one class which you have to use multiple times, then you can use these kind of concept where you can just create an object of that class, or like you can extend the properties of that class, and if there's a need where you have to extend like multiple times, you can do it. It is possible. Java gives you the leverage to create as many extended classes as possible without any problem. Okay. Any doubts in the concept of multi-level or in how did we create this main? What does this mean? Any question, please let me know and I'll clarify right away. No questions? Okay, perfect. Then I'll move to the next topic. For multi-level, these are the files. I'll be sharing this Java teaching guide with you guys today. If I forget, please remind me. And this one has like more detailed explanation and also the code which we are using.
Sorry, can we bit repeat? My connection was not good, so I couldn't get. I could get the last part. Just the code. I want to see.
Okay. Mm, we have this as parent superclass, then we have So this is the code which we have created. But point to understand here is like we have one superclass, as you see here. This is the superclass. Then we have one class which is extending from the superclass. So dog single inheritance is my class, which is extending from animal single inheritance class.
How we are extending that? I mean, what we are using to make sure that it's a child class?
This keyword called extends. This is what makes it extend from this class. So this is the parent class. If I create a child class, I can create it. I can say public class, give it a child class name. And then when I say this extends and say which class it is extending from, then this becomes the child of this class, like because of this line here. So this is like the syntax to extend from a parent class. And then I can have my own methods. I can have multiple methods, like this is just one, but I could have like hundreds of methods here. It doesn't matter. And then if I want to extend from this dog single level inheritance, I can still do it. I can say dog multi-level extends from dog single level inheritance. So what multi-level means is like if I create an object of this third level, so this is like so if I create an object of this class here, I will have access to all the methods in class C, all the method in class B, and all the methods in class A. So that's what I wanted to show, and I've showed it here. When we finally create public static void main and create an object of this child class, with the help of this object D1, I could successfully access method of D1. I mean, this dog multi-level, I could successfully access the method of this dog single inheritance, which is bark, and then I could successfully access the method eat from animal single inheritance. And when I executed this code, I got this. This is second level class, which is from this object method, and then barking is from this object method, and then eating is from this object method. So with the help of D1, I could access everything here.
And why we said object D1 for dog multi-level, but equal to new dog multi-level function? Like, I do not understand that why we had to do the
So this
function.
is how you create an object, right? How do you create an object of any class? When you create an object, you have to write the class name. So dog multi-level is nothing but a class name. You can see public class dog multi-level. So to create an object, this is the syntax where you have dog multi-level. You have to mention the class name, then
Yeah.
object name equals to new of class name.
Okay, the new of class name, that function is what this is a complete syntax we create, because I remember what I studied long time back is just the name of the class and the object. That was how I created object long time back, but I do not know that we are initializing it with a
So
function.
like this,
Yeah, this one, yeah.
did you study this in Java?
I mean in object oriented C++, like we create class and then create object outside the class. So I it's long time back, so maybe
Mhm.
I'm wrong, but I'm trying to just understand dog, like this is a
Yeah, now I don't know which programming language you studied, but in Java, the only way to create an object is you have to give class name, object name, and then new of the class name. And if it has arguments, you have to pass these arguments. If it does not have, then it will be empty. But this is the way we have to do it.
okay, and we are writing this object under the class multi-level inheritance. Like this is a altogether
Yeah, this is the
class.
new class, and
Uh,
this one has like my main method. I can have my main method present anywhere here also. That's not a problem, but I'm keeping things very like simple, so I've created a new class and added my main method in this new class.
okay, so wherever I have a new class, and if I am calling main method in that class, I can create object from any other different class in
Yes.
that new class which is having a main method.
Correct. Your You can create this anywhere you want. I could also create this here. So that's not a problem at all. You can create objects wherever you feel like. But if you want, you should know the flow. So the flow is like whatever instructions which you give in this place here between line, between these brackets, your compiler will come and execute these lines one by one.
Mm. But here the multi-level inheritance class is not child class of any class. Like it's a
Yeah,
separate.
this is just like
Yeah.
this is because in Java, I cannot have public static void main like this in
Mhm.
empty place. So I need to have a class, and hence I created a class which I called it as multi-level inheritance. Uh, I can change the name. I can give anything just to
Yeah,
make
yes,
sure
I got
because
it.
we have so many names here, right? So I
Got
want
it, got it. In the same way, I can create object of any other class in any of the inherited, like child class or the parent class. I can do the same thing. I can create
yes,
object of
yes,
that class with this syntax and then call functions.
correct. So let's say I want to create, object of this dog single inheritance, which is like one level upper than this dog multi-level, right? So I can completely do that. I can say doc single inheritance and then call it like D2 as an object equals to new of doc single inheritance and then close the bracket. And since it's D2, if I say D2 dot, I just have access to two methods, as in like I will not have access to this method, right? Because I'm one level up now. So I'll say D2 work and so I have access to these two. And if I run this code, it will work fine. So you can see here, it is displaying barking and eating from these two methods in the object. Similarly, I can also create an object of this animal single inheritance, which is possible, and I can call it D3 equals to new of this. Can someone tell me what method will I have access to for just D3, which is like animal single inheritance? So what are the methods which I'll have access to?
Just D3, like just
Mhm.
one
And what is that method name which I'll have access to?
animal single
Just
inheritance.
the
The
eat function, just the eat function.
Correct. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
the eat method. So if I see, I'll just have eat method. Why, Lina?
Because it's a parent class, so and it is not getting inheritance from anybody else.
Perfect. Yes, because this is not getting inherited from anywhere else, or like it does not have any properties on top of it. This is like the super parent class. So this is the only method I can access if I create an object of this class. But when I create an object of doc single inheritance, I have access to what? This one. Plus I have access to animal single inheritance, which is this class. So I have access to eat and
Eat.
bark when I create an object of dog single inheritance. So that's what you saw here. I had access to both of those methods. And if I create, this one is like super child class, right? Of dog single inheritance. So this is like the third level. So when I create an object of this, I will have access to this bark multi-level. I'll have access to this bark method here and then this eat method here. Okay. This is required as in like when we create an object of uh which class and like what are the methods which I'll be able to access when I create an object of some particular class. Okay, perfect. Thanks for question, Lina. That kind of clarifies a lot of things, I guess. And hi, Chris. Welcome.
Hi, apologies. I'm kind of the support coordinator and the QA, so
Oh, okay, then you have long after support need, after
yeah,
hours need in your office.
all the time.
All the time. Oh, that's nice. I was once in support team. I didn't like it. Too
No,
much.
it's a lot on top
It's a
of
lot.
being
Like,
the only QA for like 6 developers. It's a lot.
oh wow, that's a lot. 1 to 6 developers. Oh my God. Okay. So that's all about multi-level inheritance. Now I'll go to the next topic, which is, so Chris, you did not miss much. It was just on multi-level. So from the time you have joined, I guess I have also done a recap on it. So you should be like caught up. And before this, we just had like go through session of whatever we have covered in our previous class.
Okay, I'll rewatch the video after.
Sure. And then next topic is hierarchical type of inheritance. As you can see in this picture, it says that there's a class B and class C, which is extending from class A. So which means that there's one parent and it could have two child, as in like class B, class C. So it could have multiple childs, like, and all these child will have access to the method from class A, which is pretty simple, nothing complicated here. So let's say, where's the code? I'll try to use the same code which I have here. Okay, I have it in a single file, so it makes our life even easier because we can easily see what it means. And where's the main method of hierarchical? It's here. Perfect. Okay, so if I have a parent class called animal hierarchical inheritance, that one has a method called eat, which is what we have learned. Like you can create any class and then you can have a method. This is simple. Now I can create a class and extend from this one. And this can be done in single file. You can have multiple files. That's up to you. But you always have to make sure that whichever whatever is your file name, uh, you should have a class present in your file with the same name. If you do not have this, then your Java will start throwing an error. So let me see. If I delete this, then you see there's an error. So the public must be defined in its own file, and then again for this one it will say the same. Animal hierarchical has to be defined in its own form. So it's good if we have one of the class name same as the file name. Now, so this one is the main class which we have in this file. I can create my child class directly in this file. I do not have to create a new one. If I create a new one, that's well and good. But if I do not want to, if I want to use the same class file, I can still do it. That's possible. So you can see here, I've created a class called dog and extend from this animal hierarchical inheritance. So that is possible. And I could also have another class called cat, which is extending from the same place, which is animal hierarchical inheritance. So what this means is there are two child classes, dog and cat, and they both are extending from single parent, which is animal hierarchical inheritance. As you can see, it's highlighting the same parent. So that is also possible. You can have one superclass and multiple child class extending from the superclass. Now, if I want to access the methods of child class and parent class, I can easily do it by creating an object of the child class or parent class and take it from there. So the object creation concept does not change. So here, if I create a class for object for this class called dog, Then I can say dog and then dog here, new of dog, and then I can call two methods, which is eat and bark, which is from here. So eat, I'll have access to the parent class of methods, and I'll have access to the method of my class, which is bark. Similarly, I can create class cat class object, which is here, and the explanation is same for this also, that I can call this method meow, and also I can call eat. So both the methods, and this, if I execute, I can execute it successfully, and each of these methods get executed as per the steps here. So first step 7, 8, 9 will be executed, then 11, 12, 13. And this is like multi-level, this is like hierarchical inheritance. Next one will be like hybrid. So any questions on this one? Okay, I believe no. I can move to the next topic then. Okay, final is hybrid inheritance. Something which we should know about hybrid inheritance is that we will not, in Java, we cannot do this directly, as in with the help of class, you cannot do this. So one class cannot be extended from two parent class. So one child cannot have two parent class. Okay. Two child class can have same parent. That is possible, what we saw here. So here we saw 3 child class having one parent class. That is possible. There can be one parent for like hundreds and thousands and infinity number of child. But one class can extend only from one class, as in like you cannot extend from two different classes into a class. Okay. So which means is, let's say if there's a class called class B and there's a class called class C. And in class D, if you want methods from both B and C, that is not possible in Java. Directly, that's not possible in Java. There's a workaround with which you can access the methods of B and C, but not through classes. It's through interface, which we will learn in some time. But hybrid inheritance is not supported by Java. So class D cannot extend from class B and C both. Class D can extend from B and class D, or class D can extend from class C, but it cannot extend from both at the same time. Okay. I'll show you this with the help of an example that you cannot do this part. And when we go through inheritance, that at that point, I will show how this can be achieved with the help of inheritance, or like this hybrid inheritance, or hybrid inheritance can be achieved with interfaces. So first, let me show you how or why this is not possible. Hybrid inheritance. Oh, this is interface. I do not want to open this. What I can easily do is click on this hybrid, no hierarchical main method. Where is one more? Okay, in this one, we saw that there's a superclass called animal hierarchical inheritance. Then there's a dog class called a dog class, which is extending from this. I cannot, like, this extend works with only one class. I cannot have like multiple classes. So I cannot say this again. Dog extend from different class here. So let's say if I want to say extend from like maybe this class, right? So if I say extend from here, it won't be possible. We'll keep getting an error that is already defined. So this means that this has already been defined. You cannot add a new class with new, which extends new class. This is not possible, nor this is possible. So if I have, even this is not possible. I cannot have one class extend from multiple class. That's not allowed by Java. So from one class, your child class can only have one single parent. Okay. And if so, we will see how this can be possible or this can be achieved, as in like one child can have multiple places to get their methods from with the help of interfaces when we reach there. But before we move to next topic, which is like overriding, any doubts or any clarifications which you need across this three inheritance levels? Even if the question is silly, it's completely fine. But please do ask if you are unsure of anything.
Yeah, I have one question for multiple inheritance. Just now you said a class cannot be inherited more than one.
Oh
So
no, I said one to like I said when you extend a class, you cannot extend from two classes. So you cannot have two parents at the same time. You can only have like one parent. So there cannot be like two parents. So in this place, where is this? No, interfaces. If I get it will come here. So here you saw this is the parent. I have two child class extending from single parent. That is possible. But let's say if there was one more class here. Let's say if there's one more class, right? This is animal hierarchical inheritance, that's class 1, and this is class 2. This one has method this one has method this. So let's call it as parent A, and let's call this as parent B. So you cannot create a dog class with this. You cannot create, like, you cannot pass two classes and create one child class. Okay, this is not possible. This is blocked by Java. So this extend keyword only takes one value, which is one parent. That's it. Is your question clear? Lina, you there? I think maybe I lost her. Yes, Chaitra. We have a question.
I don't know, it's silly or what. Yeah, in multi-level, like class A is a parent class for like class B and the class C. Can class B could be a parent class for class C?
Yes, it can be. So let's see if I remove this, right? So this is parent A. Let's call parent B, which is dog, extending from parent A. So then this, for parent B, this becomes like super, or like, so for parent B, and now if I needed one more, I could say extend from dog. This is possible. I can say child of B, and here I can say child of A and parent of C. Okay, so dog is child of A, which is why it is extending from animal, and then I can say it's parent of C, which is nothing but this one here. And here I'm saying child of B, which is nothing but, let's say this one is class B, then it's like child of B. Only this combinations are possible, nothing else.
Okay. And this is possible only in multi-level, right? Not in
Yeah, this one is multi-level.
yeah, in hierarchical, it's like class A is a parent class for both class B and class C. So class C or either class B cannot use another class as a parent class, right?
Yes, it has to use class A once it's defined.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
You will not directly work on any of these concepts, but it's good to know all these concepts. You'll most probably working with this one or this one. Some cases this one. So not directly, but knowing the concept is going to be helpful, as in like you will know how can you extend from a parent class, right, while writing your program.
And can we expect any interview questions from this topic?
Yes,
Or like a fresh one?
completely.
Okay.
That's why I focus more on these concepts, because in interview they will mostly ask you these concepts. They would be like, okay, what is inheritance? How many types of inheritance do we have? Why is hierarchical? Why is hybrid inheritance not possible in Java, and these things. So if you know the concept, then you can easily answer those questions. Okay. The next topic is method overriding. And as I said, first is why do we even need overriding, right? Like what's the need of overriding concept? So let's suppose there's a parent class and it has some methods, like 5-6 methods, and you are creating a child class extending from parent class, but you do not want to inherit all the methods directly. Let's say there's a characteristic which is present in parent class, but you do not want it. You were like, I want to create my own method, or like I want to give my own definition to this method, then I can do it. So let's say parent class have method called M1, M2, M3. These has some steps. 2 has some steps. 3 has some steps. You create a child class. When you create child class, what happens? You get all these 3 methods by default, right? M1, M2, M3. But in child class, you're like, I do not want to have the same instructions what parent had in M3. I want to like rewrite my own M3. So I can write M3 and then I can give my own definition here in this program. So what I'm doing here, I'm overriding this method which was already present in my parent with some different set of instructions. So this part of rewriting some existing method from parent is called overriding. Now we'll see with the help of example that will give a lot of that will give better explanation of this point. And yeah, there are some parameters because since you're changing a method, or like you can say a method is overridden or you're overriding a method when you use the same method name. That is first criteria, same method name. Second criteria is same number of arguments, right? Same number of arguments, what is present here. Same type of arguments, what is present here. So that has to be like met. You make sure if you have different method, if you have different method name, if you have different types of arguments than the one which is present in parent, it just treats as if like it starts treating like method overloading concept, right? That there's one extra method here, and this one accepts like maybe 3 input and 4 input, or method from parent accepted like just 2 input. So if you have same method name, different values, or like different parameters, then it is method overloading concept. But overriding is you have a method in parent which you are trying to completely replace in child, like you're overriding it from whatever it was in parent. So with an example, you can see the bank has a method called get rate of interest, and there are 3 banks which are accessing this information. So SBI is accessing, ICICI is accessing an Axis Bank. So like these are some Indian banks which are accessing the rate of interest method from bank, or like RBI of India, similar to Bank of Canada. So let's say if Bank of Canada says, today's rate is like 5% or 10%, like whatever it is, then they have this get rate of interest method, and all these child class are using that get rate of interest method. But if I want to override that method after getting this information, let's say SBI wants to not have this get rate of interest from Bank of Canada, and it wants its own rate of interest to be provided to other how can I say, not other methods, I would say, but if I need to change the value of get rate of interest, then I can successfully do it by overriding this get rate of interest from banks method. So let me show it in example, that then you will understand it better. Returns. So I have my first class, which is method animal method overriding. It has a method called sound, and I'm printing animal makes sound. Okay, so this is my parent method. Now here I'm going to create a child method extending from this parent method. So I'll say class, and class name is dog1, which is extending from this animal method overloading. Here I want to replace this sound, because overriding is the concept where I said that you do not want to use the method from the parent class. So you are changing the definition of that method in the child class. So you will say, okay, for this sound method, follow my instructions, which is what I'm going to show. So here what I'm doing, I'm overriding it. So with the notation @override, you're like telling that you're going to override a method from your parent. So you can see the method name is fully same than what it was in the main class name. So in child class, and in parent class, you have same method name, and here I'm saying dog barks. Okay, now what happens when I create a class of this, when I create an object of this child class? When I execute sound method with this object, this gets executed. Let me show that with the help of example. Where is the code? Method overriding main method. Okay, it's here. So what I'm doing here is, first I'm creating okay, I'll show this method in some time. First, let me just show the basics. Then I'll go to the advanced version, which is I'll say dog1 as d1 equals to new of sorry, dog1. These methods are from this class. As you can see, it says dog1 extends animal overriding. So here I'm saying that, and then I'll say d1 dot sound. Okay, I'll comment these two. I will run this main method. What I'm doing, I'm just trying to display the sound method, and I want to see which one will it display. Will it display this line or will it display this line, right? So let me run this code and check. So when I run this code, I see it says dog barks. Why? Because when I create an object for this dog1 and run this and then call this sound method, it is going to this dog1 and it's going to this sound method and executing this, and it's not going to this method here. The reason being I've overridden this method in this class. If I wouldn't have overridden, it would have automatically taken from this place here. So let's say I call it sound Q, and I'll comment this line here. So if I run sound now, you can see it will say animal makes a sound. So since it has same name and it is annotated by override, even if you do not have this @ override, it's fine. This is just for us to know that, okay, we have to we are changing some things from our base class and we should be aware of what changes we made. So in override, you will mention, you'll write override in front of all the methods. So that way, if there's a new developer, they would come to this method and they'll be like, okay, if this one is overridden method, that means this has like a parent class or some other place where this method has been initialized, and now we are going to modify with either the new value or make some tweaks. It's up to you. Okay, so let me run this code. And yeah, this executes successfully from this line number 14 to 16. Similarly, if I had to do the same thing for cat 1 E1, and run this code, it would successfully say cat meows, which is nothing but my overridden method here. So sound is again overridden here, and it says cat meow. So this is like basics of method overriding. Any questions on the basics?
No. When are we taking 10-minute break?
Oh, actually, we are right there. After I finish this
Um,
talk, just 5 more minutes and we'll break.
yeah, I just have one quick question here. Like
Mhm.
as you said, it should be same parameters, everything here. Let's say we are giving the dog barks, we are overriding that. And
Okay.
can we add another sentence?
Oh yeah, you
Like
can. You
we
can add as
like
many as you want.
like system dot out println again.
Yes.
Next,
And
that's
you can,
allowed.
yeah. HI, not box, obviously. And,
My kids think I bust all the time.
but no, see, it says no. You can add as many lines as you want. So that's what override does. Like this will not look into this method at all. It will look only for these methods. Like this will look for this method and it will always run this line here or whatever you write in this form. You can add as many lines as you want. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, after you have overridden things, right? After you overrode something, you're like, you know what? Like I've already created my program. I've already created my child class. I've overridden my methods. You're like, I do not want to use the overridden method. I want to use my I want to use my my parent class method. So how can I do that? That's one thing. Second is it is possible to use your child or use your parent classes method. That is possible. So we'll see that. But now before moving to the topic, there's one more concept here, which is you will see this in your interview questions, like if someone asks you. So let me, this one is basic, so I will comment this one out or maybe delete this one for now and go to the interview question, which is if I create, like, there is in some places when you are going to give an interview, you will see that people are creating an object with the parent class name. So you can see this is the parent class, right? Animal method overriding is the parent class. Dog one, cat one are child classes for this method. No, sorry, for this class. Okay. So if I create an object of this class, which is animal method overriding, I will have access to this method, right? That's like the generic rule. So for whichever class you create an object, you will have access to that methods in that class. So that's like the generic rule. But if there's an extension, then you will have access to that method plus all the parent methods. So that's like the general rule. So if I create an object of animal method overriding, I will have access to this sound here. Correct? But in some interview questions, you will see that they are creating this object with the class name as parent class, and they will have new of dog one. So this means dog one is child. And why do they do this? This is like to make sure that you understand the concept where when I create an object in this manner, when I'm saying my parent class name, I'm creating an object of my parent class name, but then I say new of child name or child class name. It says that in these scenarios, if I have some methods overridden, instead of using parents method, it will start using child's method, the overridden method. That's why you need this child class name. If you do not want to use uh, parents method, then you can use, but you want to create object of your parent method, then you can use this representation. Again, this is interview specific. You might or might not be using it in your real world program, but whenever there's a screening questions for interview, they will not ask you how do you create a normal object, right? They will ask you some complicated questions, like they will give you this this much of the code. They will say that there's a public class called animal method overriding called void sound, and then there's dog1 extending from this animal method overriding, and it has the same sound which is overwritten. So now in that case, if I write this line here and if I execute animal1 dot sound, what would be executed? So something like that. So, and then they'll give you with 3-4 options, and you have to answer like, what will be the output of this. So as you can see, because I created animal method overloading animal1 with new of dog1, and when I say animal1 dot sound, it goes to this class and executes line 14 to 17, right? Because I'm explicitly mentioning while creating my object that, do not refer to the methods directly from this parent class. You can refer to the overridden method from the child class. Similarly, for class 2, if there is any, then I can do the same thing here as well. So if I run this code, you can see that for both of these classes or like these objects, where I'm saying creating an object for parent class, but saying them to refer to overridden methods from child class. So this is what it means. Let's suppose I have not returned dog1. I would write this here. And if I run this code now, it will just execute when I have the same name as parent name, which is like for this. Then when I execute sound, it will just print this animal make sound. As you can see here, it successfully made that. Right? So this concept is again interview related and good to know kind of a concept. Any questions on this? On like,
No, it's good.
okay, perfect. Then we can take a, what's the time? It's
Like whatever object we create, we can
Mhm.
access with that object, no matter the functions are same, like they are having the same appearance or whatever characteristics you can say, but
Mhm.
as per the object of that particular class, we can call that function of that class.
Correct. But if you mention child class name here, then you will you're telling Java to specifically go and look for child class overridden methods. Right? Like here you see, if I say I'm creating an object of this class, but I'm calling, or like when I mention like new of dog1, which is like my child class. So I'm saying that instead of using this method, always use this method. So that's what it means.
And why we should do like this, like in real
Because you do not want to use the methods, because you want to use the overridden method, which is present here. So let's say let me add few more. Void work. One more thing. Let's say okay, so these are some extra methods which I'll add. Okay, now if I go here and then I have this. So with animal1, I'm creating an object of animal1 and I'm saying new of dog1. So what I mean is, for animal1, this sound like, if I try to access this part, where is this? Animal1 dot bark or sniff, I will not have access to this. You will see that it's throwing an error. Even if I save this program, you'll see it is throwing an error. So why do we need this? It's just to make sure that I want to have access to all the methods of my main parent class, but I need the updated version of these methods. So let's say I've updated this method. So let's say this, the sound, the and what can we do? Or like dog whine, anything. So instead of using the old method, I want a new method, or like the new operations which are defined in the child class. So if I want to do that, I can do it with the help of this type of representation. It's like telling our Java that whenever there's some overridden methods, use it from this child class, but rest of the method use it from my parent class. So let's say if I add some methods more here, void if I have this. So this is like extra method which I have. So swim, so this means I can access sound. When I call sound, it will access from this place here. And when I call swim, it will access from this place here. So it's like instead of using the old methods, I will have access to all the new definitions in the method. So think of it as like you have created a child class and some characteristic or some methods which are existing in parent class, but in child class it's way better. It's updated and it has like more features and so on. So you want to use all the methods from parent class, but only some methods from child class which are overridden methods, right? So in those cases or in those scenarios, you will use line number 7 as the notation to create a class. Oh, sorry, create an object. So sorry. It's like different ways. I do not know how much of each of these concepts what you're learning will be like used while you're creating a framework or and so on. But when we talk about interviews, these are some type of questions which you'll be asked, because they will not be looking at like the base level of concepts. They will always be looking at the advanced level of concepts, and this is one of those. Is it clear now, the concept at least?
So if there is no overriding, then we have to use the parent class name, right? Like not the new dog one, instead of that new animal method overriding. If there
Yes,
is no
correct.
override.
Yeah. And even if you're using this, and if there is no overriding, it will not throw any error, but it just like, let's say if I make this as sound 1, obviously I have to change this. If I make this as sound 1, there will not be any error here. When I run this code, it will just, instead of taking it from child, it will take it from parent. So this way of representation is just if there is any overridden method, it will look for the overridden method in the child. But if there is no overridden method, then it will just fall back and it will find the method in the parent class and execute that. Simple. Okay. Looks like this topic is a little bit confusing here.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Yes.
Okay, let's try this after the break. Okay. Then we'll I'll try to simplify this a little bit more. So right now it's 7. Let's meet at 7:10 and then we'll go over this topic again, especially the this part.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Recording. Can you guys still see my screen or not?
Yeah,
See?
you can see.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so let's try another strategy for this part here. What this thing is very confusing. Let me create a new package. Yes, or you know what? Let's keep it classy. God, and Ellen is method one. Let me create one more method. Method two. Method three. Okay, so this is my base class. Let me close all of the above so that we do not have any confusion. So this is my base class. Has three methods. Let's think of this as like when we started programming, we created this first program, we added some methods, and while developing our application, let's say this was one of the class, we added some methods to it, everything was working good. Down the line, 1 or 2 years, there has been updates on method 2 and method 3, but if they make changes to this file or this class A, and if some classes have dependencies on method 2, method 3, method 1, then it would break those functionalities, and hence it's said that like if there's a class which has been which has some dependencies with other child classes, we should not touch that. We should just leave it as is. And if you want to work on those classes, what you have to do is you have to create a new class or like create a child class. So I'll create class B, and in B, I will say extends class A. So which means that I'll be having access to all the methods from class A, and then I can have my own methods as well. So here I'll create M4 and say this out. This is method 4. Similarly, I'll have void M5 and have this. Okay, this is just general inheritance, like single level. Now, if I want to, in class B, I want to modify method 2. I'm just choosing this one. So I'll say @ override and then say void M2. And in M2, earlier it was displaying this is method 2, but this time I want to display that this is new version of method 2. And let me add more lines here. Method proves name of child class child objects okay, so I'm creating class B. I have M4, M5 as new methods of class B, and class A's M2 method I'm overriding, adding new lines to it. Okay, now let me create main class, which is I'll say main class public static void main, and this is where I'll give instructions, right? So first I'll create an object of class A. So CLASS class A, call it C1 equals to new of class A and brackets. So this is like class 1 object. So if I see C1 dot, I have access to M1, M2, M3. You can see I have access to these three methods. So I'll display them all, C1 dot M2, and then I'll say C1 dot M3. Okay, this is very basic, nothing crazy here, like simple creating an object, calling all its methods, and when I run this code, it's saying this is method 1, method 2, method 3. Okay, up until now, is everything clear? Till this point, this is like very basic class, child class. This one has a overridden method. In main class, I'm creating an object of my parent class, which is class A. So when I run this, I get all this methods from class A. Any questions until this point?
No, this is good.
This is good. Okay.
Yeah.
So now what I'll do is I'll show the difference of these two. So now I'm saying class A, creating again object of class A, but this time instead of saying class A here, I'm saying that, overridden method can be chosen from this part. So now I'll again run the same things. Again run M1, M2, M3, and now you'll see. Okay, let me put. So now you can see this one says, what did I miss? Oh, C2. I'm like, what happened? Why do I see this? Okay, perfect. Save it here. Now, if I run this, you can see method 1, which was not overridden by class B. It is displaying this is method 1, but method 2 is from class B here. So from this part, says this method proves the working. So these two lines are present here, right? The new version of method 2, and then the third method is again from this point here. So you're saying that create an object of class, but if there is any overridden method, make sure like choose the overridden method from this child class, right? So this is one way of saying it also and using it. So you can create an object of parent class, and overridden method, if you want from child class, you can mention the child class here, and that way your methods, whichever are overridden, will be chosen from class B and rest from the same. And what are some criterias when this situation would occur, which is like if there is some methods which are old and not really like whatever functionality that method does, it's not really used, then you can have your own child class and override that method. That way you will have the new functionalities written in the same method. You do not have to create a new method name and write it again. Okay. Now is it clear with the help of this?
Can we just see the class B code? Like
Yes.
it's
Just three methods, but this is something which is overriding. So M2 is present here also. I'll share this code if you want.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. So this is class A, this is class B, and finally,
So all these, I wanted to ask, like, all these codes, like, are we have access to, right? Like, we will try, but we can see, like, which is the, yeah, from yesterday's class, like last session and this session, we have access to it.
yeah, so all the code which you want is already present in this directory which I've already given it to you. So not like exactly same code, because sometimes I write the code here in the class, so that will not be present. But mostly, if there is any concept which I'm teaching, you will already have the code with you in one of these folders. So like inheritance, you will find everything in this folder here. And which file to refer for what topic, I'll be sharing this file, which is Java Teaching Guide, and this one has like step-by-step process for method overloading concept, uh, what files to refer for static, what files to refer, static method. Yeah, so you can see static, what files to refer, inheritance, for single inheritance, what files to refer, for multi-level inheritance, what files to refer. So I have given all the file names here, so you can execute these files and you will know. For
Okay.
interfaces. Yeah. And if you still have any questions while you're practicing, you can send me an email, or you can uh, make a note of it and ask me in the next class. Anything works. Okay. So this is about the method overriding.
So, I just have one question on that code.
Okay.
Um,
So yeah.
Here, we are passing the class B if any overridden is there. So we are asking to display that. So instead of class B, can we directly call the method there? Is it allowed? Like the overridden one?
Directly, I don't think so. This is the only way.
Like just M2? No, it's not allowed, right?
No. Like, can you give an example of what you're trying to ask for?
Like class A C2 is equal to new M2 instead
Oh,
of class
directly the
B.
method?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. You have to create an object of a class. So you cannot like create an object of any methods. No, you have to
Mm.
always create object of a class. So C2 is object of class A. So C2 will have access to only methods from class A, which is M1,
Mhm.
M2, M3. But M2, we want the latest copy of M2, which is present in class B. So with the help of this representation, I'm saying that give me all the methods of class A, but if there is some overridden method in class B for class A, then make sure you override those methods and give me the latest copy of that method. That's how this is like read.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And I have given this code, so for simplicity, you can use that. Let me close this. And that's overriding concept. Overriding is very important. In most of the interviews, they ask you overriding concept. So make sure you practice it. If you have any question, make use of this course. Ask me questions in the next class if you have some, and then I'll try to clarify those doubts. And yes, any question you have is not silly. You should ask question. The more questions you ask, the better clarification you'll have in your head. Okay, next is super keyword. Let's go to super. Where's the code for super? It's done. Inheritance should not have super. Oh, super and final is here. So for super and final, you have to refer to this package, which is super and final. So these are two more topics of object-oriented programming. Most probably we just have a couple of more topics left for OOPS, and then we'll reach collections and so on. So this is one again very important topic where super is for you to refer to parent class methods instead of child class methods. So in our previous example, which is in classes, where did that go? Batch 5 here. So in our previous method, in this main class, we saw that how if you create parent class object and you can access child class overridden method. Now we want to do vice versa. So let's say if I'm creating a child class, which is like class B, so instead of main class, what I'll do is I'll create one class called super concept and void main. I just need main from here. So I will create class object of class B, call it B1 equals to new of class B. So with the help of B1, I'll have access to what all objects. I will have access to everything like M1, all the methods, M1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have access to all, right? So let me print M1. I'll print all of them first, and then I'll tell you why do we need super, what's the point of it. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is basic concept, right? I'm accessing the child class, which is class B, creating an object of this child class. And since I'm creating object of child class, I have access to all the methods, right? M4, M5, M2, and then from here, from class A also, I'll have access to M1, M2, M3. So I'll have access to all these methods. But whenever I call M2, sorry, in this file here, let me place them properly. So class A has M1, M2, M3, class B has M4, M5, and M2. So every time when I create an object of B1, which is like my child class object, every time I call M2, it will refer to the M2 present here, which is the overridden M2. So if I run this code, you will see that. So it says this is method 1. So method 1 is from where? It will take from here. Then it says this is new version of method 2, which is here. This is new version of method 2 and so on. Method 3 is again from this point here. This is method 3. Method 4, it says this is method 4, this is method 5. So when I execute B1 dot M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, we see the execution takes place in this manner where M2 is nothing but my overridden method. Okay, now if I want to access instead of M2, what if I want to access M2 from this place? I do not want to access M2 from this place. I do not want to access M2 from this place. I want to access M2 from here. So in order to access anything from your parent class, you have to use the word superclass, super. So this is the keyword which refers to the parent class. Right? So every time you use the word super, it means you're trying to refer to the parent class. Let me open this code. 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 code here. So this is the example. Sorry, I closed class B. So let me have this class B here. This is to show you why do we need, what is the concept behind going and accessing the method from parent class. So that's why I wrote these 3 files. I mean, like, these 3 files are just to show the need of super. To go deeper into the explanation of super, I'll use existing class here. Why this class is because this one has like some extra functionalities present. So if I execute this one, I'll be able to explain better. So for the first one, which we'll see is parent S1, then we'll see parent S2, and then we'll see parent S3. So parent S1 has main S1. So you can see here there's this parent class called parent S1 has just one variable called int num equals to 100. Does not have any methods, just one variable. It's possible to have this. And then I'm creating a child class which extends from parent. And here I'm changing the value of int num equals to 100. It was 100 here. I'm saying int num equals to 200. Okay. So this is what if I want to access the variable from parent. So how will I be able to do that? So the first program is for that. Like, how will I be able to access the value from, or access the variable's value from parent class and not child class? So how will I be able to do that? Even if I create a child class object, right? So it's very easy. Every time I want to refer to parent class variables or methods, I have to use super dot the variable name. So every time I mention this super dot num, it will refer to this num here and not this num. Okay, so this is for variables. So there's one variable called num has value of 100 in parent class, but in child, I'm replacing it with 200. If I display the value of this num here in child in this line, it will display 200 because this is what it sees. But if I want to display the parent's num value, I have to use super.num. That means it will go to the parent class and try to find the value of this num variable and display that value. So for executing this class or every thing what we learned here, so we'll use main method, which is main S1. Here I have public static void main. I'll create an object of my child class, which is this one. So I'm creating an object of this child class. And I'm saying object.display. So when I have object.display, it comes to this line here, object.display. It displays the num value first, and then it will see when it executes line number 12, it says super.num, which means it refers to line number 4. So if I run this code now, you can see it says child class num equals to 200 initially. So initially it was 200, and then when I executed this line, it says parent class num, which you can see here, parent class num is super.num, which means I'm now looking for parent class variable. So this is num equals to 100, so it prints 100. So super keyword has to be used in order to refer to parent class variable or parent class method. So this is parent class variable. So how do you refer to parent class variables or parent class method, right? So for those purpose, you would need super key or super keyword. So this is one example, which is to access variable from parent class. Now we'll see the example number 2. So S2 and parent S2. So we have two methods, two files here. And in this one, you can see that there is method in my parent class called display. And in display, it says parent class method. And then there's a child, which is extending from parent class. But here here also has the display method, and in display I'm saying super.display. So when I say super.display, it means that go to the parent class and execute the parent class method. So super.method name, whenever you type in your child class, like it will go to the parent class method, and it will execute that first and then give the control back to this one. So if I create an object, again, same way to create an object and display, but now this time when I run this code, you'll see it says parent class method and then child class method. So in parent, it displayed this, it executed this line first. So what it did is, like, when it encountered super.display, it knew that it has to go and run this method from parent class and then continue with the execution here. Now, one thing to notice, which is the method name in both parent and child are same. And this, if you want to invoke the method from the parent, then you have to make it as the first execution line. So super.display has to be present in line number 11, which is like right after you open this. If you want the parent method to run, you have to make sure that super.display is present in line number 11, or like right after this opening bracket. If you do not have it, maybe it causes some error. So let me check that. No errors. But it's generally said that it should be first thing what you have to call. That's it. Like, there's no error. You can call it anytime, but generally it says that if you are trying to call your parent method in your child method, then this should be your first step in your method, which is to call your parent class method and then work with it. But the concept is you can call your parent class method easily with the help of super.display, or like super as the keyword, and you can reach to the parent class methods. This is example number 2. And then there's a third one. This one is a little interesting because this one says that okay, this one works with constructor. As you can see that I'm passing some values while creating my object. So when I'm passing a value while creating an object, it is doing something. So let's see what it's doing. So first I'm creating a parent S3 class. I have a constructor which accepts the name, and with the help of this constructor, it will display parent class with input constructor. That's it. This is line number 8. And in line number 14, we are creating a child extending from parent S3. Here also we have constructor called child S3. It takes the value of whatever we pass here and takes the value and keeps it within. So what this function is doing is, like, how do we invoke a constructor of your parent class? That's the third type of usage of super. First one was how do we call a variable of parent class. That was first. So super dot variable name. Second one was how do we call method of parent class. That is super dot method name of parent class method. Third one is how do we invoke the constructor of parent class. Again, to understand this concept, you have to first know what constructors are. So I'll just briefly explain again. Constructor are nothing but it has same name as your class name, and this constructor are nothing but it is a block of code which will be executed while your object is created, right? So it is possible for you to invoke constructor of your parent class But while to do that, you have to make sure that you pass the values it needs to invoke that constructor. So in this example, let me first this is written off. Okay. There are like 2-3 concepts here, but I do not want to like overwhelm you with all the concepts. So I'll just say it, even if like when you try to go through this course material again, try to understand that concept, which is if when I'm creating child object, I'm passing a value, right? And this will invoke constructor because this is like creating an object by passing a value. And since I'm passing a value, I have to make sure that in my child class, I should have a constructor present. If I do not have a constructor present, this line will throw an error, right? So constructor should accept a name which is coming from here. So currently it's Shri, so it has to take this name. And the very first thing what I want to do here is I want to call the parent constructor. So here I'm passing value of Shri to the parent constructor. So parent constructor is expecting a value. It will take that value, and then here I'm just saying print class with input constructor, and then it will come to line number 16 and it will execute this. So let me execute this line or this code, and then you'll see that I've not done anything. I've just created this object. And even while I'm creating the object, the flow of execution is it takes the value Shri, SRI Shri, goes to this class here, and it tries to execute this child S3 first. And when it's executing this, the first line I'm saying this to execute is execute my parent class constructor. The parent class constructor is expecting a value which is a string of name. So we have to pass this value here, and then it will execute this line first, this constructor of the parent first, and then it will continue with the rest of the instructions or like the rest of the steps what we have mentioned. The constructor, if there could be multiple constructor, right? As I said, like you could have null constructor, you could have single parameter, you can have multiple parameter, but they all should have same name as your class name. So I can write either super of Shri, which will go to line number 8 and execute this, or I can just pass, or I can just call parent constructor by this method here, which is super, and do not pass anything. So if I run this now, you can see that when I say super and just empty, so it means that go to the parent and execute the empty constructor, so which is not accepting any value. So this one will be executed, and you can see here parent class no input constructor, parent class no input constructor, and this line got executed. But if I write Shri inside this, then it by automatic it picks up line number 8 to 10, and you can see it says parent class with input constructor, parent class with input constructor, and then child class with input constructor. So this is how like super is used. So super can be used to invoke everything from the parent class. Like this is something which we haven't learned. We know how to get things from child class is what we studied before studying super, but super is opposite. Super is something when you need something from parent class and you have created an object of your child class. So as you can see here, I'm creating an object of my child class, and I want either in my S2 and S1. So I'm looking for either variables in S1. I'm looking for variables from main S2 parent, S2, S1 parent, S1 is missing. Okay. I'm looking for either super.num from my parent, or super.display from my parent, or final is M3 main, which is constructor from my parent. I can call it all, and it's possible. So this is like for constructor, and that's like super keyword and all the explanation around super keyword. Do you have any questions around that?
So we have another constructor with some integer type, and let's say parent s3 int number something, and if we pass super any number, then that will get executed, right? It works like that. Yeah.
Correct. And say
Can you just show in the child 3 that we are just calling child class function, and also we are calling parent class like with the keyword super. Like if we use super, the parent class function will be called. If we don't use super, the child class function should be called.
but you want it to be called from here or from here. Where do you want it to be called from? First, let's finish Chaitra's question and then we'll move to Lina, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so for Chaitra, you said the number, and I have added this and printed this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So this will choose by itself because of the way Java is, right? Java will know which constructor to look for and work with that. Okay. Now coming back to Lina's question. So Lina, you are saying that we have created an object for child here, and when I execute this, it goes and executes all of the things from this place. So what was your question again? Like, what did you want?
I'm trying to understand the keyword super. The super, when we use it, will call function of parent class, and if we don't use super keyword, then we are calling the child class.
No, when you use super, you're saying that like wherever you're using super, right? So let's say that there are three times where I've used it. Let me go to this example one, because you said function. Function is nothing but methods, I guess. Since you studied C or C++, we call methods as functions there. So let's say this method. I want this method to be executed as well. And in order to execute this method, I have to use super.display in my child's any of the method I want to, wherever I want the parent method to be executed, I can say super dot that method name, and when this display method is getting executed, line number 11 is when line number 11 gets executed, it will go here, it will execute everything from here, then come back and then execute line number 12. So that's the flow.
Okay.
If I run this, you can see that here the flow is object is created at line number 2 or line number 7 for parent S2. So first thing is it will create an object of this child. So creating an object, this one does not have any variable. So it's just object with empty stuff. And then I'm saying in line number 8, I'm saying go and run this method object.display. So Java will come to this program, parent 2, it will start executing this method. Line number 11, when it executes, it sees super.display. So it knows it has to go to this parent method. And from here, it has to display this. It has to execute this method first because I'm calling it here, right? So it will display this parent class method, and you see this line here. I could have any number of lines as possible in this block of code, but I have only one line, so it's displaying that. And then the flow will come back to line number 12, and then this gets executed. So line number 12 gets executed, you'll see child class method. So this is like how the execution flow takes place. Shall I move to the next topic if everything is fine? Yes, no, maybe. Any clarification required in any of these programs?
It's clear.
Okay. And yeah, for the super keyword, if we see the explanation, it says the same. Super keyword in Java is reference variable, which is used to refer to immediate parent class object. Use of Java super keyword can be used to refer class parent class instant variable. Super can be used to invoke immediate parent class method. Super can be used to invoke immediate parent class constructor. So we have seen all the three examples. I have this very same example as here, but I'm using num. These guys are using color. So you can choose this also as an example, but the concept is this one, super.color or super.num for reference variable or for instance variable. And here they use eat, and super.eat will be the key for us. And finally, super constructor. This is empty constructor. I've shown in my example with empty and also with some values how it works. So when you go through these concepts, like it will be easy for you to understand if you refer back to the video. Okay, next is final keyword. Okay, so we have studied almost various types of concepts now. We've studied static, this, super, overriding, creating classes, creating child classes. So all these are done. Now the final topic is again called final. And this means like if you set a variable with a value once, then that value remains, that value cannot be like rechange. It has to remain as that value for rest of the execution. So there's a word called final. So when you do not want any of the users to change some specific values for some variable or method or class, then you will be using final as the keyword. So variable values once assigned and you do not want it to be changed, then you'll use final keyword there. So no one else can go and try to like change the variable values. It will not let them change. Similarly, a method which you do not want to be overridden. Let's say I have a method called add, which is adding two numbers, and I do not want that method to be overridden anytime. So I'll mark it as final. I'll say, do not override this method. If you want to, if there's a need for you to override something, then just create your own method, but do not override this. This is the final method I have, and I do not want it to be overridden by any of the other developers. So that time I'll mark it as final. That method will become final, and the final one is like class. So if I do not want any child class to be created from my class, then I can mark that class as final. So if I create a class with final keyword, that will protect it from extending into a child. So that means it cannot have any child. Okay, so we'll see how do we work with this final keyword. So this is easy. Final keyword is like if I'm creating a class, as you can see, the class is here called final S1, and in any of the method, if I try to, so for final, first let me say how to initialize a final type of variable. So generally to create a variable, what we just do is data type, variable name, and the value. So if you want speed limit to be 60 all the time throughout your code, then you can mark it as 60. Sorry, you can mark it as final. Then speed limit will be 60. In case someone tries to like change the value, so you can see void run. This is a method where I'm telling speed limit to be 400 and I'm getting an error. And this says that, the final field S1 cannot be assigned, which means like since this has one value assigned to it, it cannot be changed. So this is one type, which is like once your variable is marked final, you cannot change it. If you try to change, you will get an error. Well, oops, I'll comment this line out so my error is gone. Second one is if I make my method as final. So you can see I have a class called final S2, creating a void type of method, name as run, and it says this is final method run, and I'm saying it as final. Right, so once I mark this as final, that means if I create a child class, I cannot override this, right? So I'm creating a child class down. Oops, sorry. Let me take this off. So I'm creating a child class here. As you can see, it says child class final SS2, and this is extending final S2, which is here. So creating a child class for this final S2, and here when I type void run, when I type void run, it automatically means that I'm trying to override this method which is in parent class. So Java, as soon as encounters that I'm trying to override something which is marked final, it will start throwing an error. So it will say cannot override the final method from final S2. It's mentioning that this is a final method. You can do anything else. So if I had like void walk, if I had any other method, I could easily override it, and you can see there's no error. Right, there's no error, but here we have error because we are trying to override a final type of method. So once a method is marked final, you cannot override it in your child classes. Okay, so this is point number 2. In order for this to work, last is if I create a final as the class. So I'm creating a empty class, call it final class final S3. And if I try to create a class or like child class from this final S3, I'll start getting error. It says this class cannot be extended. So the type final SS3 cannot be extended. SS3 cannot subclass the final class. So when I mark my class as final, that means no child can be created. This is one more type. Any doubts on final? This is like a keyword, and how do you use these keywords? It's like the concept which we learned.
This is simple.
Yeah, this is simple.
Okay.
Very crazy. Yes, like once you mark something final, gone. Final class. Yeah, you'll just keep getting error if you try to update. So compile, and it's all compile time error. Compile time means like while your syntax is checked, it will find those fields where you're trying to update final type of stuff, then it will throw that error. Okay, by this we finish these topics. I would highly suggest you to go through these topics as soon as possible. So if there's any questions, you can ask me in next class, and I'll be happy to clarify your all doubts. Oh, interfaces are the next topic. This topic is very nice. If there's any assignment related to, if there's any assignment and if you work on it, that gives a lot of clarity on the topic itself. Oh, assignment 4 is here. Inheritance and then interfaces. Inheritance part, you can complete it now. Interfaces, you can do it later. So you can start working on this one also. Assignment 4, whenever you have time. So the first question is for inheritance. So just try to go over this question, interfaces. If I finish it today, then highly unlikely. Interfaces are a little bit complicated topic, so won't be able to finish everything today. So interfaces, you can leave it until Saturday. Saturday I'll be done with interfaces topic also. Okay, let me go back to interfaces.
I have one question, Shrikant. These assignments, I will refer from where?
Or the questions,
Yeah.
you do not see it in your My Academy portal.
Okay.
When you click on assignment 1, you should see all these questions.
This link should be given to me in my like welcome.
You- Yeah, you do not have access to this My Academy portal.
I frankly did not try. If you can
Oh,
share that to me, I will try to do assignments.
okay. Yeah, you should have access to My Academy portal. This one is like for me as a tutor, but you guys should have a different link. Chaitra or Chris or Gladys, can you please share the link with Lena if you guys have access? I think you guys have
Yes,
access for
sure.
sure.
Yeah, assignment we do
Not
have.
assignment, the course itself. I don't think so. Lena has access to this My Academy
Oh,
portal. So, did you get any welcome email from BusyQA and they shared this My Academy portal?
No. So far, I don't think so. I have. I just had information, the introduction email from you.
Oh, that's it. They didn't give you anything?
No, I do not have any other email.
Oh God, you should you should have told me before. I had no idea about it. I thought like you all have access to because before assigning you to me, they give you access to the portal.
Yeah, they create your user ID and they send you the link. When you click on that, you can access all this course material. That's what I did. That's what they sent to me.
Chris, do you have access? Since you and Lena joined us later.
Yeah, I have access.
Maybe
Oh yeah,
then I have not checked properly. Let me check again.
yeah. Just
But
please check because I'm
Check
pretty
your
sure they
junk
would have.
mail, because mine
Oh,
went in my junk mail.
okay. Yeah, then it would be in your junk mail.
Yeah, I sent the link in the chat. If you
Okay. Thank you. That is Ian. But she would need her first time password and everything, I guess. So see, Lena, if you do not get it, please reach out to VG, the HR. Uh, I think that's the person whom you have reached out while getting admission here, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so reach out to her and ask her for that. Tell her that you didn't have. I mean, I will also message her that you do not have access to My Academy portal. But
yeah.
if you
No, I
cannot
think
find,
I think I am seeing it in my spam, and
oh,
but I
perfect.
never tried it, so I should
Okay, okay.
do
Yeah,
this.
then try it. It should be like very simple. So try it, and if you have any questions, you can let me know.
Yeah.
And
I missed
Chris,
couple of last sessions, so I was like bit off bit, so
okay.
I might have skipped this part.
Oh, okay, no worries. Like
Assignments.
you can go through the good. Chris, when you open your portal, do you see all these things as like fundamental of software testing, test design techniques, or you just see automation part? is my question.
I actually, when I open it, I see modules 1 to 12.
Oh, module. Yeah, the way it looks for you guys is a little bit different than what it looks for me. So, want to do.
I
What's your
have
module one?
module 1 is overview on software testing and automation. 2
Oh,
is
okay.
Java concepts. But I
Okay.
also have the co-op, the resume, mobile testing APM. I don't think I have the
Okay, you have
manual
other stuff.
stuff.
Okay. Then they have put you into this course. Yeah, so that happens when they have more manual course and automation course clubbed.
Yeah.
I think you have access to, where's my other course? Course content of products.
Mine's called CI automation testing.
Oh, yours is this one. Okay, perfect. So when I think Lena would also have access to this one. So since you guys have access to this, it's not different. The course is exactly same. It's just that for Chaitra and Gladys, they since they started a little bit early, they have manual part also present in their course. And this one is purely automation. So you can see
Right.
only Java concepts and so on. So since we are here, only thing which I should make sure is solutions. Okay, looks like I do not have solutions enabled, so that's fine. Yeah, the questions or assignments will not change. They will all be present here. So assignment 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4 is here, 5 is here. And submission is here. So submission, since I didn't know that you are using this portal, I will activate this for you guys. So all your assignments, I'll activate it here. Gladys and Chaitra, they are uploading it in the other one, but you guys have to upload it here. So I think you will find this assignment submission _1 underscore, and then the second one. So make sure you submit your assignments.
Sorry, where are you seeing that? Because I don't see anything for.
You do not see this assignment submission also?
No.
No? Now I have to check. This is
Oh,
CA.
no, I see it. I
You
lied.
see it?
It was just really far down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I see it.
these links are for submission of the assignment. So I think I
Got
have
it.
activated 3 assignments till now. So I'll activate 3 assignment submission. And let me give time until next week, Saturday. Oh, just realized it's already April. Oof. Perfect, exit. So please work on these assignments. Like these are assignments question. And once you finish it, you have to submit it here in respective assignment location, plus upload it in GitHub and share the link with me. Till now, Chaitra is doing that part where she is where she's finishing her course. So her assignments and sharing the link with me, which is here. It looks like this, so like GitHub link. So make sure that when you finish your assignment and upload it in Git, you can share the assignment link with me as well. That way I do not have to like go to the course portal, as in I do not have to go here, get your code out, read it there, and
Oh,
then
Sri, for assignment 1, I create a Word document and I put the link inside and I upload the document
okay,
in
that's fine.
assignment
But for
submission.
for
Is that okay?
assignment 2, send it to me, the
Oh,
link.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be fine. That should not be a problem.
Okay, perfect.
Because the GitHub will be same, right? GitHub
Yeah,
will not change. GitHub will be
yeah.
same, just like you would have different folder for assignment 2 or different package for assignment 2. So I just need a GitHub link.
Okay, so I can send it by email. No need to upload in the.
You have to do both.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Email is for me, and
Okay.
this one is for Busy QA to track your progress and so on.
Okay, no problem.
Uploading Word document is time consuming. Sending link is easy
It's
actually.
easiest, yes, I know.
Yeah.
And like just to make sure that the assignments are there. There's this I think there's someone who keeps checking all these things. So it's nice that someone is checking, and we do not lose track of these assignments.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I've activated this for both the courses. Make sure you please submit assignments on time, or else if we move ahead in the topic, then you will be like you'll not have time to finish those assignments. So make sure you finish them. I think we should stop today's class, and interfaces, packages, modifiers we can cover in our next class, which is on Saturday. I do not want to like start interface and stop in between. So let's do that. Most probably in a class or maybe by next class. So I'll finish this exceptional handling and I'll start collections by Saturday, and by next Wednesday, pretty sure we'll be done with Java, almost all the concepts of Java, and then your midterm will be due. So make sure you finish.
When is the midterm?
Midterm would be we are on this one, so Saturday on April 13th.
Okay.
Yeah. So like we'll discuss the date on 2nd of March, which is next Wednesday. We'll discuss the date, or I'll give you 1 week of time to study, prep, and so on. And then on 13th of April, or like whichever day fits for every one of us here, we'll choose the date, and I'll send the question paper to you guys, where you will have 3 hours or 2 hours to work on that code and give me back the answers. Okay. Perfect. And yeah, that's it from me for today.
Okay. Thank
I'll-
you.
I'll see you all on Saturday morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I was just wondering if anybody like Chaitra or like we have your email IDs, all of you, right? So if I get stuck somewhere, I can just message and then can get some help just for upload, or maybe not just for upload, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
And in my previous batches, what I saw was like they all had WhatsApp group with everyone in the batch connected over WhatsApp, except me. Like I would not be in that WhatsApp. And yeah, they would all talk, they would interact, and then they would ask questions plus and so on. Like, it's for them. So like you guys can also do the same if you want.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes, that way you're all connected, and you can help each other. So any one of you can take that up and create the groups
Where would you like the group created?
in like WhatsApp. Like that's an
WhatsApp?
easiest way. I don't know.
Oh, I don't use
to-
WhatsApp, but I can.
It's a app, messaging app, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't use it, but I can get it.
Yes. Oh wow. Like people who have
Does it have to
who
be
are
a
from
phone
India,
number?
they all use it because that was the first application we had, which was over internet, and I think complete India uses it. So,
Does
but
it have
here
to be a
I've
phone
not seen
number or
people
an
use.
email?
Phone
Sorry?
number.
That's like an
A phone
application.
number.
Yeah.
So how am I gonna know your phone number?
Oh yeah, that has to be through email or through chat. Oh, here is Lena and Chaita. They have shared their numbers here. So Chris will first download WhatsApp. Excited, Chris?
Oh, there we go. Okay, look at me. What apping?
Yes. It's a good app. Okay, where's the stop record?